session, yeah. Yeah, but yep, we'll play music.
Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6, according to the Open Public Meeting Act. Quiet, please. This meeting on April 10, 2024 was sent to our town and the record and published on January 21st, 2024. Posted on the bulletin board. Posted in the board municipal building on Russell Park West Side Facebook page and has remained potentially posted as required notice under the statute and is being recorded and videotaped. In addition, a copy of this notice and it has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Peachy. Committeewoman Otola.
Here.
Committeewoman Judge Crivello.
Here.
Committeeman Miller.
Here.
Mayor Besetti.
Here. Everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please. Any correspondence?
No correspondence.
No correspondence. Can I make ask for motion for approval of the agenda?
Does the mayor and council want to move closed session up before you approve the agenda?
Yeah, we can
Mr.
do,
Doyle is here, and the township is paying Mr. Doyle to be here tonight. So I don't know, he's the only one that has something for closed session tonight. It's obviously up to the mayor and council if they want to move closed session up to
Yes,
Mr. Doyle to
I'll
get
ask
him
for
out of
motion
here.
to move closed session up.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Committeewoman Otola.
Yes.
Committeewoman Judge Crivello.
Yes.
Committeeman Miller.
Yes.
Mayor Besetti.
Yes. This time we're in closed session.
For the public's benefit, there will be action taken after closed session. I don't anticipate us being in closed session for a very long period of time, but we are going into closed session to discuss matters of negotiation, attorney-client privilege, and potential litigation.
You're ready.
I'll make a motion to come out of closed session.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. You want me to- So,
We're in there.
yep, Township Committee through the mayor. We need to pass a resolution authorizing Doug Doyle to continue with settlement negotiations with regard to the matter with 120 West Passaic Redevelopment LLC. And then, in addition to that, a resolution authorizing the township administrator as well as the mayor to execute a settlement agreement should the terms be acceptable, all of which will be disclosed to the public when negotiations are concluded. So that's the resolution. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
So it's one, to authorize Doug to continue settlement negotiations, and to authorize the mayor to execute a settlement agreement should those negotiations be concluded. That's the motion on the table, all of which has been discussed in closed session.
So I'll make the motion as stated.
So what resolution number do you want to put this under?
Anyone?
So we will make it 24.
Okay.
Hang on. Resolution, step there,
107?
107.
Okay, thank you.
But that's going to be on for next month, the resolution.
Right, but the motion says.
Yes.
Motion can be passed now.
Mhm.
So
Motion has to be
that's-
approved.
Yeah,
Right.
yep.
Okay, so I made the motion.
024-107.
Mhm.
I'll second it.
Committeewoman Otola.
Yes.
Committeewoman Judge Crivello.
Yes.
Committeeman Miller.
Yes.
And Mayor Besetti.
Yes.
Yep, we'll move on with the agenda.
Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Did we do that before?
Yeah, you did.
We did that before we went into.
We did a motion to move up closed session, and then you went into closed session, so you could do a motion to approve the agenda as amended. That's okay. You could do that.
So Tommy motion.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
second it.
Committeewoman Otola.
Yes.
Committeewoman Judge Crivello.
Yes.
Committeeman Miller.
Yes.
Mayor Besetti.
Yes. Open up the discussion. Bruce Boswell, engineering report. Yeah, they are, but why is this shutting off? Anybody have a
Try
phone?
speaking again?
Just speak it without pushing the button. Let's see.
Coverage.
Can you hear?
No.
No.
Should we try this one?
Yeah.
The other one.
That works.
Try that again. Good evening.
That's better. Thank you.
Bruce Rockwell from Boswell Engineering. Engineers report. First project that I'd like to report out on is Railroad and Rochelle Avenues. Latest update, the easements were received from the township attorney on March 20th, 2024 for review and comment. Those were submitted to the county. The county approved the easement submission prepared by the attorney. As of April 4th, the county has approved moving forward with securing the easements. Communication utilities were not initially intended to be installed underground. And on March 28th, the county held a meeting to advise Boswell of a design change where the communication utilities will be installed underground, and that underground installation also is under the tracks. So that's going to require the use of jack and bore pit construction. That is going to impact the scope of work for Boswell. We have looked at that impact and identified that cost for that additional work at $7,500. That's going to incorporate the changes for the underground utility trench and the jack and bore construction methodology. That'll require an additional plan for us to prepare, several details and specifications. And we will be forwarding a proposal of that shortly. Pump station project. Latest update, the town executed their part of the TWA application and provided the application fees. Our wastewater engineering department reviewed the application, checked that final, and provided the completed TWA design and completed the cost estimate this month. The updated design drawings and cost estimate were forwarded to the township this week. Estimate including decommissioning of the existing station and force main is for the total project is $4.1 million. The completed TWA package is set to be fully submitted to Bergen County Utility Authority at the end of this week, or 12. TWA design drawings sent to the township represent approximately 85% of the total design for the project. And that next submission gets submitted to Bergen County Utility Authority. And then the next steps in the process after BCUA approval, which we expect in 3 to 4 weeks, goes up for state approval. And in parallel, we're doing DEP permits, and that is expected to be a 4 to 6 month process, including the approvals by DEP, and then we'll move into the bidding phase. So we're estimating an October, November bid date, and that date coincides with the expected FEMA grant result notification timeline. And the TWA application must be endorsed by Bergen County before we can move to submission of the application NJDEP. But we're preparing the permits in parallel. Next update is for Howard Avenue, and project's construction is underway. Our office issued the first payment recommendation for the contractor, LaForza. Authorization was for $368,654, and we submitted that on March 22nd, and the township provided a payment resolution on March 28th. digital tax map project. Comments were received from the state taxation office on March 31st, and our survey department is currently addressing those comments. Dorothy Avenue, Gertrude, and Pleasant Avenue Road Program. This paving project is underway. Our office issued the first payment recommendation of $39,135.47 for the contractor DLS Contracting. That was issued on March 19th. Township provided a resolution for payment on March 28th. Our inspector is, as part of that project, scheduled to meet on site with a resident of, or residents of 16 Pleasant regarding some drainage concerns. My understanding that I spoke with the inspector this evening that he's got that meeting scheduled for tomorrow. Open space grant for Carlock and Matthew Fields. Latest update for that project. Our office submitted a proposal for bid document preparation, construction inspection on March 11th, consisting of survey services for $5,000, engineering design for $51,900, construction inspection for $41,250. We've completed the survey work and the engineering design is underway to prepare the bid documents, plans, and specs. And we expect the bid to go out in June and construction for September time. Harvey Avenue, latest update, plans and specs were submitted to NJDOT on March 11th. We received comments back from NJDOT on March 15th. We are addressing the state comments. The construction cost estimate for this project is $624,000, and the BCSCD application was submitted on March 24th to the township for signature and for preparation of fee payment of $1,025. MS4 stormwater mapping. Maps were submitted to the state on March 12th. Physical copies of all the mapping were provided to the Township DPW on March 25th. Approval from NJDEP is pending. Resubmittal to NJDOT on April 10th has just that occurred today, addressing some comments. Construction cost estimate is at $637,000. And grant funding for this project is $207,710. Lincoln Drive and Chestnut Avenue, the application remains pending. We expect the town will be notified directly of any grant award. CDBG indicated they're going to be meeting in April to review and award of this grant application, so we expect the town should be notified shortly. Stormwater control ordinance, next steps for the township to prepare the storm control ordinance. We provided a ordinance for review in December of 2023. The ordinance was modified for direct insertion with the section numbers, etc., into the township's ordinance. So we gave it to the town in the form of the ordinance. The ordinance must be adopted by July 1st, and we remain available to meet if there's any further discussion required on that. An additional ordinance that's coming up that we've been telegraphed from NJDEP is the tree ordinance. They have not really submitted the requirements for that. I think they've been floated and they get a lot of pushback, so not really sure exactly what's going to happen with that, but we've advised to start reviewing the tree ordinance that you have on file and just to, we want to be prepared. We want to get you prepared for that when it does come down. BCOS grant application for Matthew Field. We are preparing our revised estimate. We had provided an estimate for this project, and then there were some additional elements to be added to the project. So we are anticipating delivering our revised proposal for this on April 12th, at the end of this week. That's the end of my report.
Any questions?
Everybody's good? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Move on to number 2, the EAP program.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, sir.
So this is the Employees Assistance Program that's offered through a shared service agreement with Bergen County Health Services. We offer our employees, and up to 40 employees, many different types of services, including, I could go through a quick list, elder care, daycare, adoption, parenting challenges, relationship problems, codependency issues, marital issues, divorce, anger management, depression, suicide indication, weight management, loss of a loved one under personal wellness, financial and legal challenges, as well as drug and alcohol abuse. And it comes to a cost of $890 for the year. So I looked at it last year. We were late to the game, so I want to move forward this year, and I think it's a good option to offer our employees.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very low cost for all those.
40 employees, 890?
Yeah, 890.
No brainer.
Yeah.
Okay.
890 per or 890?
That's total.
Total. Okay, let's clarify.
Thank you.
I'll put it on for next month.
Yeah.
For next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
I get it.
Any other questions? Sir?
Yeah, it's $22.25 per employee for the first half, and so, again, the full amount is $890, so that's what it.
So that would be for what, half a year now? Basically?
The full cost is $890. Yeah, they break it down to half a year of the county, but I just want to double check that that is correct. $890 for the year.
Okay.
Move on to number 3, the LoSAP, LOSAP, for active military.
Again, through the chair, Mayor, if I may, it came to my attention that, and I think it's a great thing that we've been doing in the township for LoSAP, for our fire department members. Obviously, we don't have an EMS or an ambulance corps anymore, so it's just our fire department members. Those who are in the active military or currently serving were granted full credit. However, I've learned that if that's not codified in our ordinance, it actually puts the township in a bad way, or, potential for a problem for that person. So I immediately bring it to your committee's attention, saying I think we should make some minor changes. I think it's an awesome thing to do, those that are serving our country, and willing to volunteer when they are home on our fire department, to continue that practice. But I'd like to change the ordinance and update it so it's properly reflected and legal. Yeah.
So while the time they are in serving military, whether active or inactive, but they're in military status. Am I correct?
I think it's active status, and or reserve status. I think they deserve the credit that they,
Right.
There's also one other change that I'm going to recommend to this committee. And again, this original LoSAP ordinance was written a long time ago. It doesn't account for the current amount that we give to the volunteers. The contribution was capped. However, we get local finance notices, LFN notices from the Division of Consumer Affairs that allows for more than what our current cap is. I think the language should reflect that based on the CFO's recommendation and LFN, that that's the money amount. So it was capped originally at $650. This year it was $740.16. And again, let me make sure I have that right, $740.13, which would take us over, obviously, the $650 that our current ordinance allows.
Yeah, the 21-3.
Correct.
So you want to change the ordinance to reflect, even if they increase it next year or the year after, so it would be continuous? Or
So you don't have to, because you still have the right, as per the resolution, to say no. And you can say no.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, so
the language in it would be something to the fact that every time the state or whoever comes in and says, they're raising it, Then the language would have to say it would be okay to raise the.
Correct.
And that would be on the next meeting?
Yeah, we can amend the ordinance. So it's going to be an ordinance change, so we're going to rely upon Mr. DePisa to get those tweaks done. It's going to be 2 readings.
Great.
How many active military do we have, you know?
I want to say there's currently 2.
I think
I
so.
believe there's 2. One name jumps out at me only because I know, and I recall the fire chief telling me about another, unless Dave knows off the top of his head. And Mayor, I know I don't have a report listed on the agenda, but I do have some things I'd like to go over with this committee if possible.
Yep.
All right, so I'll just go through my list. We did receive the legislative grant. Thank you, Mayor, for getting on the DCA site and the SAGE grant system and executing that. So I await the $100,000 coming from the state for our sewer, our pump station, which can be used towards that. Bruce did report, there's an estimate now for $4.1 million. We're looking at a $1.9 million FEMA grant, hopefully, the $100,000 legislative grant, as well as the $634,000 that we can use from our COA funds as per a judicial order 2 years ago. So at least half the cost at this point would be covered as we move forward. In doing all these grant applications, Houghton Hall, the roof is in bad shape. Our DPW superintendent was able to give me, a quote. It'll be about $52,000. Obviously, that's beyond what our budget can handle, so I'm probably going to move forward in this later spring with a request for a capital improvement project where we can take care of that. Some bad news, I did receive a complete streets denial of our grant. Now, unfortunately, we didn't score high enough compared to some of the other municipalities, and typically it's the larger cities with, that are transportation hubs. But I will continue to apply for such grants when they do come up. Rochelle Avenue Corridor, just today, or just last week, received the shared service agreement in reference to north of Railroad Avenue. I shared that with the attorney, asked him to review it. I want to make sure that all of the agreements that we had in place with the county are in fact incorporated into that document. I did meet with the developer of 1 Midland Street, which is the public store, the storage facility that's going to be built just off of 17, right next to the Harley-Davidson dealership. Made a preliminary agreement for them to make some improvements down at the dead end of the street. For some work that our DPW will help them with as well. It was a good meeting. Our construction official was there, Dave Brown was there. And they have already started that project, so things are moving forward. If you should see that construction site, that's the 4-story storage facility that was approved. The majority of that lot was Maywood, but that's been turned over to Rochelle Park via resolution, so it's ours now. Just today, I received a shared service agreement from Hackensack University Medical Center in reference to EMS. They're looking to have us and Maywood combine the EMS services that are provided. I reviewed that agreement with the township attorney. There'll be some slight modifications change, and it'll actually benefit Rochelle Park in that we hope to house the BLS unit here in Rochelle Park versus having it have to come from Maywood or from Lodi or from Hackensack Hospital itself. So it's only I hate to use this term, but it's a piloted agreement in that we're going to test this out to see from May through July if it works out. If there's any change to our response times, that delays response for an ambulance to Rochelle Park, obviously we won't move forward with it. But I will have that executed hopefully within the next few days. Excuse me. I've been working with our planner and as well as Kathy Cerici in the finance department on updating our COA reports. Unfortunately, they haven't been done for quite a few years, but our planner is on top of it, and we'll get those done. And he's going to also probably issue a memorandum for everyone and us as a client to prepare us for the 2025 affordable housing changes that are coming down the pipe from the state. Once again, excuse me. I think that's all I have now, Megan.
Dean, can you tell us why the grant or reason why of the denial for the Green Street?
I can read you the email. It's short and sweet. And unfortunately, they thank us, first of all, for our application, and then it says the selection committee scored all applications based on the criteria published in the application information packet, and we received several strong applications. We regret to inform you that Rochelle Park Township was not among the municipalities selected to receive direct technical assistance through this program. We encourage you to continue your complete street efforts and explore additional ways to advance complete streets in your township. Please consider reaching out to the NJTPA or your Transportation Management Association, which is Easy Ride. TMAs can assist with conducting safety audits, updating and adopting a complete streets policy, or installing a temporary safety demonstration project. Thank you for your interest in this program, and the contact information for the person. So then, you're scored, and typically, again, it's transportation hub areas. I actually got a phone call today from Eugene Murphy, county engineer, in regards to Railroad Avenue. And he also said, hey, where are we at with this complete streets? What do you need from us? We sent our letter of support. I said, actually, I received the letter saying we weren't moving on. He goes, oh, that's good, because Rochelle Avenue is kind of narrow anyway, and you'd have to take a lot of land in order to make that work. Regardless, I'll continue to, seek further grants and, reach out to Easy Ride and see what else we can do.
Do you think that part of the denial is that we don't really have a lot of complete streets policies implemented or ordinance adopted, or?
I couldn't tell you, I don't know. I can only tell you we just didn't score high enough. And it might be.
So it was a basic, you didn't score high enough compared to others, right?
Correct.
Basically what it was.
I read
Is there anything?
I read the entire email to you.
Is there anything else that we know of at this point that would be, or are we looking at anything else for complete streets or green streets, whatever you want to call it? Anything in the pipeline?
As for Boswell Engineering, that's, a master plan thing, right? We want to start moving forward and probably make those changes if that's something this committee wants to do.
It helps, right? A little bit.
We hope.
No, you said that Houghton Hall,
Yes.
it's kind of in disarray.
The roof is in bad shape, and we have a quote for $52,000.
Did we not have a grant for something? Was that part of that, or?
It was not. So there's other things that have been submitted. This damage was noticed afterwards. So.
Okay. Can it be submitted now or no? Is it too late?
I think it's too late because that Carlock Field's already been approved and the bond's been issued for the work that we approved it under.
So it's $52,000 for the roof.
That's the current quote I have from one vendor. It was county, what's the word, Dave? What am I looking for? Lamar Roofing is co-op, county co-op price. I'm sorry, couldn't get co-op. Yep. And we've used them before and been very, very happy with their work. So.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to open up the public portion. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Excuse me, do we have committee reports, right?
No, next meeting.
Oh,
Go ahead.
discuss.
I just have some quick updates that are between now and the next meeting. And it's just about recycling access for all. Bergen County Utilities Authority will conduct tire recycling, paper shredding, and electronics collections on Sunday, April 21st at Bergen Community College between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Team Rochelle Park is hosting a spring cleanup event for Earth Day on April 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. where volunteers can help clean up the community. To register and join, you can RSVP by filling out the form at teamrochellepark.org or simply send an email over to teamrochellepark@gmail.com. Access for All will be holding an event on April 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Senior Center. This event is a partnership with Heart to Heart. We'll be sending a behaviorist to conduct a workshop for our department employees on communication strategies with individuals with autism. That's all for me.
Also, just mention, Saturday, April 20th, 9 to 1 is our shredding.
Is our shredding event
Yeah,
here?
the shredding event.
Okay, Saturday 9 to 1,
Yep.
April
In the parking
20th,
lot.
in the parking lot, shredding event here in Rochelle Park.
And if I may too, Committeeman Miller, and Mayor obviously through the chair, the Boy Scouts had reached out to me. I referred them to Team Rochelle Park in reference to Earth Day. Let me know if you need, yeah, perfect, thank you. And any help you would need, obviously, from the police department, let me know ahead of time. If it's roads that need to be closed and something like that.
Thanks.
Now let's go motion for open for a public portion.
So motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeewoman Judge Covello?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
And Mayor Pacini?
Yes. time is open up. Please keep it to 3 minutes. Don't reply to any questions till they're done answering questions. And
Hello? Hello. All twisted up over here. Is this on? Oh, okay. Loud and clear. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. Couple of things before I just get to what I wanted to comment on. I did print out some flyers for the spring cleanup. Can I put them on the table, or Emery, could you put them in the front there?
I will also put them in our lobby.
Okay. And then I also did some print-ups of the autism acceptance event, if possible, as well, for
Can I have
Team
one of each
Rochelle
of
Park
these?
and for Access for All.
Okay.
Dean, yes, the Boy Scouts reached out to me today. I just spoke to Andy, so we're going to coordinate something very exciting. Also, if you know anyone who needs community service hours for graduation in high school, this is a great way to earn them. And yeah, and confirmation too, yes. So, this is a great way to earn a couple of hours and give back. So I get, Miss Judge Carvalho, about the Complete Streets thing that Dean brought up. I think the more that the township tries to model the Complete Streets policy or their design methods, like I think the closer you might get to getting a grant. So, and perhaps that means taking a street, maybe not Rochelle Ave, but a street in town and creating some type of a model, but also maybe passing a resolution or an ordinance down the line, to adopt the idea of the Complete Streets policy could get you closer to perhaps getting some type of grant, whether it's technical assistance or something else. So, you know me, I'm going to encourage you guys to keep exploring that route. I just wanted to report on the meeting we had last Wednesday, April 3rd, with the Shade Tree group, I'm just going to say. It was very productive and informative. I just want to thank everyone who attended, either officially, mayor and deputy mayor, or as a resident. We had 4 volunteers, including myself, met with the arborist Liz Stewart from River Edge. She has over 25 years of experience in the field. Much of the time was spent on the benefits of a commission over a committee. In layman's terms, a commission which requires at least 1 volunteer and 1 employee to be accredited by the New Jersey Urban and Community Forestry Program, would add additional liability protection to the town for any tree issues that may occur from newly planted trees and trees already planted. I know we have 2 employees who are certified by the core training, Dave and Michael from the DPW, but we would need to get at least 1 volunteer to take that training. We found out that insurance companies like the one that the town uses treat cases against towns with tree issues quite differently if we have a commission rather than a committee. Believe that the arborist brought up that there's an actual form that when they question the township, they check off if you have a commission or not. I promise, Mark, I'm almost done. I also want to say to Dean, thank you for calling. PSE&G is going to place some trees on Oldest, 8 to 10 depending, which I think is great news. There's also going to be giving the town 20 additional trees to where we see them to be fit to be planted. I still will hold fast to the principle that we should not just rely on outside entities or developers to determine Rochelle Park's future regarding our tree canopy. I think residents who pay taxes and who are invested in our community should assist in that endeavor. And Dean was kind enough to say that perhaps the volunteers can work with Dave on those 20 additional trees. I just do have some bad news to report. We did miss the virtual online training that would be available for any volunteer. The next training isn't until October, and that's an in-person one in Atlantic City. So I know, there's a proposed budget, et cetera. I'm very willing to go, and perhaps some of the other volunteers as well. But the training is for a Shade Tree Commission. It's to be accredited, not a committee. So we're kind of stuck in this idea of, should I take the time to drive down to AC, spend the time, the energy? I'm willing to even pay for the class myself if we're not sure where we're going with this. The meeting was great, but it wasn't really a formal meeting we had. It wasn't an established meeting. We didn't take minutes or anything like that. So myself and some of the volunteers are just unsure of what the future holds and whether we're either going to have another meeting or not. We don't have one scheduled. So I just don't know what to do at this point when it comes to getting the training done. I did send a proposal, Mr. Vassetti, to you, just a brief one-year outlook of what we could do. I've been speaking with Dave while you guys were in that very long closed session about being realistic with our endeavors, and Dave has just been phenomenal, I got to say. And Liz Stewart, the arborist, is so well-versed in this stuff. I really feel like she's an asset to the town. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at it. I made a copy in case anybody in the audience wants to look at it. But that's where we're kind of at. We're not sure where to go next. And we kind of need to, your direction at some point to determine if we take this training or not to do commission style. That's all. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Warren? So, what? I attended as a resident.
Yes.
And so did.
Mr. Miller, yes.
Mr. Miller, and we attended as residents. And I listened to the arborist, who I understand has 25 years of experience.
Yes.
And I did hear and I know all of us heard it, was that the commission is better with any kind of liability insurance or anything compared to a committee.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And
that's
they would
positive.
protect the town, from what I'm understanding, with the liability a little bit more.
Yes, we even discussed, I believe, that, there's a neighboring town with a potential lawsuit over a tree or trees, and Ms. Stewart flat out said that if those trees were planted with a committee, you're in some trouble. If you're planted with a commission, you're very well protected, as long as you follow the accreditation that's what I mentioned.
So the training you're talking of is training in Atlantic City for a commission?
Commission, yes, to be accredited as a commission and attain that additional liability, as well as access to the grants in order to build our account, to do what we want to do, right?
Basically, she said that the grants would be much more abundant than they are as a committee.
Yes.
Commission would get more abundant grants.
Correct.
That would give it into the town. And I mean, she's got 25 years of experience, though, and I understood, she said.
Yes.
So
she's also developed, I don't mean to interrupt, but she's also well-versed and has developed, essentially, we would have to create a 5-year plan that she mentioned, and that plan would be our reforesting plan of the town. And the plan could be as simple as, when we do road projects, like Dean mentioned to me, we can plant trees. I can go in the plan. Talk to Dave. Can we do 20 trees a year? Yeah. How can we maintain them? And as long as you try to adhere to the plan, and every year you send in an update to the state so they know that you're at least following, having that plan is so vital to the liability factor, the grant factor, and not that I'd say she came at no cost to the town, by the way, to the meeting. Just want to make sure that's clear. No cost to the township or taxpayer to the April 3rd meeting. And if the Township Committee and the potential Shade Tree Commission would want to hire her, you'd have to go through the same process as you do for hiring anybody to develop that plan. There is a matching grant for that plan, though, so we wouldn't really, yeah.
I understand, too, that she did state, and I'm trying to recall the wording, but if I'm close, it was basically something to the fact of that with the commission compared to a committee, you, not only with the liability part of it, it would be building and helping to expand it more within the town. But at any time, the township committee could say, no, it's gone, we don't want it anymore. Is that basically what she said?
Well, absolutely. She said to us that, people think the Shade Tree Commission is going to be this rogue entity, but really, the Shade Tree Commission must collaborate with the township government, the DPW, planning boards. That collaboration I was talking with Mr. Brown about is key. And yes, the Township Committee is still the governing, overseeing body, because you would have to develop the ordinance to establish it, to regulate our powers and duties, et cetera. One of the things also was that we talked about the first year, we'd really be focusing on educating our community about a shade tree. And I was talking to Mr. Brown just now during the closed session. When you tell people we're going to plant a tree here, they're probably thinking of these big giant oaks that we've got in town. Oh, God, no, I don't want that. But I feel personally, so does perhaps Mr. Brown, I want to speak for him, but we had the conversation that once people see the actual trees that are appropriate to go into the ground and the way they blossom and the way that they look and their shape and size, I guarantee you those 8 to 10 will grow to 10 more. Because people just don't know what a shade tree commission is. They don't know what is coming. And I think education is key, whether that means we have Liz come back for a seminar and we live stream it and we have people watch it and learn and see, where we could show them the types of trees. Listen, I've been known to make some videos. I'll be happy to make some videos around town informing people what types of trees are appropriate and what that means for our town, our property values, our utility bills. But the education factor in year one is probably where we'd spend most of the proposed budget, as well as perhaps do some plantings. But that really is, in a nutshell, I think the most vital part is to get the community to understand and be less anxious about what a tree would actually do on their property, and not the ones that we've seen that are so gigantic that we know they're not supposed to be, planted in the spaces in town.
Well, I mean, just based on what you're saying in the education that Liz,
Yeah, Ms. Stewart, Liz, yeah.
Liz, okay, gave us, which was very interesting, and there was a lot of questions. I mean, I get it, we're the committee compared to the commission, the education part of it. I understand all of that. So, I mean, once again, I'm going to propose to the rest of the committee to go for a commission.
Okay.
Because I'd like to see the education part of it.
Right.
I know the first year is going to be mostly education and training, right?
Yeah.
So
we have to be trained,
go
yes.
with the committee compared to a commission. So the main thing I'm looking at is you have the commission. Of course, the ordinances would have to be made up correctly.
Yes.
And I'm understanding that at any time, and again, I'm going to say this, that at any time the township committee could say that's enough, we don't want this commission anymore, but that would have to put into the language of the ordinance itself.
I'm not a super expert on ordinance language, but yeah, I'm sure your attorney could talk to you about what those possibilities are. But I just want to stress again that the township committee is the top of the hierarchy of governing bodies in Rochelle Park. So how you establish that, I'm going to say, is up to the township committee.
I think that from what I'm understanding, and I think moving forward, I'd like to propose to the rest of the committee that we go for a commission.
Great. I mean, the volunteers are ready.
What do you guys think? I don't know. What do you
And
think?
So we have voted on this. We had.
Doesn't matter, I can ask for it again. I think that.
We have voted on this, and we heard what Dave Brown had input on at that meeting about what he had learned from Maywood and their commission and how they suggested against it. And after we heard all of that information, we voted on it. Sure, we could vote again, but we already have. Unless we have some new information.
That's up to you guys to figure out. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to sit back down. Just want to let you know the volunteers are ready. We just don't know what we're ready for. And I just want the township to know that I think this should be a resident-driven commission, and we should not just be relying on outside people like PSE&G or developers to dictate what Rochelle Park should look like, or wait for them to come when they're ready. I think we should take our own prosperity into our own hands and have the residents volunteer in that capacity. So you guys will work on that other part.
I understand that, you're speaking of the neighboring town, and maybe that didn't work well in their neighboring town, but doesn't mean it can't work in this town. This has a lot of residents. It has a lot of push or drive for commission. It would be, as far as grants are concerned, from what I understood from a very well-educated woman, something that you'd be looking at to get more money for the town. I think Mr. Miller at one time said, let's not leave the money on the table. Yeah. I believe he said that. And education-wise, go ahead.
Yeah. Liz also mentioned that she's working with Haworth, which has a population of 3,000 people, so they have a very small commission. But she says it's going very well. And as Mr. Warren mentioned, this is very much a push this policy and they want it to work. So they do want to support townships that are putting through shade tree commissions, and they want to give them funding. So that's why I did say we are leaving money on the table by not pushing forward a commission, because it's grants to increase property values and to beautify our town. Quick question, Mark, when you were going through the comparison in your research, did you find this information about the liability factor with going with the commission versus the committee?
So my initial views were more based in substance of what the two models could provide. I did not dive into the liability aspect of it. If the entire township committee would like me to do it, I could certainly look into it, given what Mr. Warren had said, but I don't want to expend that time unless I know that's something that the township committee wants me to do. But my initial research was, again, more about the substance and the benefits that each could provide, and that's kind of what my analysis focused on at that time.
Again, I don't know where you want to go with this, but I think that if you're going to have training and you're going to go through all that, you may want to look at a commission instead of a committee. I can't speak for everybody, but that's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about it.
No, I'm still up in the air with the committee commission, because I need the cost analysis of extra DPW workers. We need equipment to do these trees. Can't just put it right in there. So we need a whole breakdown of what it actually covers, who's paying for it, burden on taxpayers. Grants are going to cover it, but it's also going to fall in the township. So we need a little more.
I think though, with the $7,500 budget, like that is the Shade Tree Commission's budget, and then whatever grants,
training.
yeah, whatever grants that they get, that obviously will increase their budget. But that's why, like a township like Haworth, with a population of 3,000, they do have a very small commission that's appropriate for their township. So I think it would be similar process here. That we have the budget of $7,500. That's what the commission would work with. Any grants that they get would obviously be beneficial. And then when they do get those grants, they can outsource that work in regards to maintenance, planting, and removal.
But it's just the first year you're looking at the training for it. It's not going to really go too many places until they get the actual volunteer trainer, right? And basically what I'm saying is committee, commission, back and forth. I mean, within that time, it could be next year, even by the time they go for grants and everything else. But I think Mr. Warren had just said it's not till October that the next, training. So you're looking almost at next year.
We have plenty of time to the training to discuss it. We got the attorney looking into it, like you just suggested.
So do you want to see about something with the attorney looking into the liability?
The attorney look into it, yeah.
I mean, that's
okay with that.
Yeah.
The pros and cons, and the cost factor will come to the town besides grants.
So wait, so you guys want me to look into the liability aspect that Mr. Warren was discussing, that Committeewoman
Right.
Judge was discussing, the liability factors, right? Is that what everybody
Yeah, so
says?
layer of
Okay, just so I can know exactly what.
So, compared to a committee and commission for the town itself. We want to always make sure that the town, in my opinion, is, covered correctly under the liability for anything, right? You want to make sure. So if the committee is not as well, and Mark can check it out, as a commission, we may want to think about what we should do next. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Next.
Andrew Matson, 14 Eldorado Court. I always get here late, but I heard Ms. Artola say no to a new vote because there's no new information, which really confused me because I was actually at the Shade Tree meeting and you weren't. So, and it just seemed like from this little time I'm here, there was new information. So that was kind of confusing. And also, Mr. Mayor, I'm just wondering, a cost analysis of what?
The hiring of new DPW workers, the equipment rentals, or buying new equipment.
So we're not going to do any tree planting until that's done?
The ones that we're getting already, yes, that they can handle, but.
Have we done a cost analysis of what it's going to be for those trees that we're already doing? Have we done that?
They already have a budget in.
We have a cost analysis of planting those trees? That was
That
done?
would be, Dean, do we have that? Mr. Pinto?
That was specifically done.
PSE&G.
I'm asking like a specific cost analysis, like they want for these, or whatever, new planting of trees. Was that done for these trees that are
Which
trees that are getting
Which
planted?
trees?
Yes.
I want to know which ones. It's a public service?
Any trees that are gonna get planted?
The Harvey Avenue project, yes, that was built into the street project. I don't have those numbers in front of me. It was discussed, and it was part of the engineer's estimate of cost for the 45 trees that are going on Harvey Avenue. The balance of the 30 that PSE&G doesn't plant, I don't have a cost analysis. I know Dave says he'd be able to take care of those.
So this is a cost analysis for just planting trees in general.
What this program is going to present, yes.
But from what I heard, this first year is just gonna be very informational.
Yes.
So what's the cost analysis actually
They
gonna
have
be
a
of?
budget, they can take the classes if they want.
I'm not asking about any classes. I didn't ask about any classes.
They would discuss in the class.
Yeah, I'm a different person here, so,
You know any questions, I'll answer it.
no, I'm just trying to ask, like, I'm genuinely interested, like, is it a cost analysis of a shade tree commission or a specific amount of trees that they're looking to plant and maintain, or is it to maintain all the trees in town? What is the actual, like, how could you do a cost analysis if it's not specific? So I'm just wondering what that would actually be on.
Are you done with your questions? Yes or no, are you done with your questions? I
Well,
won't let you finish.
look,
You got 3 minutes.
anytime I've ever gotten up here,
3 minutes to ask your questions, are you done with your questions before I answer?
my last statement will be, anytime I get up here, after I sit down, somebody up here snipes back, so you can't respond. So on that note, I'll allow you to continue to do what you do, and I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Next. Three minutes is up.
Alderhouse, West Alder Street. I know we voted, or the powers that be voted not to hang the autism awareness flag, but I do want to commend you for at least acknowledging and putting it on the video billboard. We will be holding Access for All will be holding a training for dealing with children with autism. All township employees and volunteers are encouraged to attend if they would like. Access for All, along with Team Rochelle Park, will be having an ice cream social on
What's the date?
the training,
April
April
30th.
18th from 6:30 to 8
I knew the date, I didn't know the time, I'm sorry, 6:30 to 8, and it's in the senior center.
in the senior center.
Did you send out the email to all the,
I did, but when I spoke to
I didn't get
Dave
it.
Brown, he said he didn't get it, so I have to find out why it wasn't sent
Yeah.
or. Get an email requesting some assistance with that. The sound system. You hear me every month saying the sound system. Either each person needs a microphone.
Walter, can you hear me? Barely? With my mouth? So you have to be, okay. Can't hear Dean?
Come sit over here.
Ravello. Ravello.
If I sit over there.
Oh, everybody can hear me.
I was going up there. so they could- that was my time.
Yep,
So we're close, right?
Yeah, we're close.
The public portion.
I'm just bold enough to say it. Everyone else thinks it. I'm just bold enough to say it.
I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeewoman Judge Covello?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
And Mayor Becerra.
Yes. All items listed below are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Township Committee and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these unless a committee member or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda as part of the general order. Resolutions number 024-102 through 024-106. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeewoman Judge Covello?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
And Mayor Pacetti?
Yes. We already did the closed session. Next meeting will be April 24th, 2024, public meeting at 7 PM. This time the meeting is adjourned.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
We said it
All
already.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.